cancer is very devastating. It has terrible effects on your family. I have 3 children. My wife and I were high school sweethearts. We dated for 5 years. We got married. We was living the life. No problems, no issues. And one of the things I want you to know is that cancer affects everybody. My kids are, without a mother. Now they're 27, 25, and 21, but during this process they were in their formative years. It's very difficult to have to share with them, hey, your mom has cancer, things aren't good. Every time we turned around, as far as with Karen, whenever she was dealing with cancer, it was just bad news. But I want to tell you a story, and I want you to understand this woman that I love. She was a godly woman. She was a woman who just knew that God was going to heal her and that there was going to be a healing that took place. It was a very difficult time, but we would go through chemo, and like most of y'all know, when you have a cancer diagnosis, you do protocol chemo. This is what you do. There's nothing really exciting about it, but you do it so that you can move on in case it doesn't work. So we do the cancer protocol, and it didn't work. Okay? So we go to MD Anderson. We go to MD Anderson, and they come back and they say, I want you to do protocol again. We want you to do it again because it knocks it down, gives us a little more time. And we did that. So we did it again, but we did it here in Oklahoma rather than staying in MD Anderson. I drove into MD Anderson at 8 o'clock in the morning. I was driving home at 12 noon because they just said, hey, we can't do anything for you. We want you to do protocol. We were trying to get on studies, and that was the big thing, is drug studies. You guys, the money you raise, 32% of it goes to cancer research, okay? 32% of it. There's some great things going on out there, okay? But at the time when we were needing that, it was not available, okay? So we did protocol a second time. We did some other things, got on a little study, got kicked off because we didn't meet the criteria for the full length of time. And then we found a drug study in Bethesda, Maryland. Does anybody know what's in Bethesda? National Institute of Cancer. That's the big dogs. That's government, okay? You guys, American Cancer Society, are the #1 fundraising group, nonprofit, in the nation. Actually, in the world, probably. I don't know that to be truthful, but I say that. So, besides our government, which just is crazy in their funding, we are fortunate. Our Cancer Society does a lot for lobbying for research, and we need to keep funding that and helping them to be able to go out and continue to fund research. So, the thing that I want to share with you is we got to go to Bethesda. My wife got on a drug study, but after about 5 months, we'd fly up over 21 days. We'd fly up, and about 5 months we went up, and they said, hey, you're outside the parameters of the study. You've had a 22% growth on a tumor that had nothing to do with what we were worried about. It was a new thing. There were no problems from it or anything. And we got kicked off because the throw-out percentage was 20%. So 2% growth over the regular 20% allowed got us kicked off. We come home, and at this time, and I'll share this with you, when we started, we didn't want anything to do with Relay. I think you guys are great. Relay is good, but there's a time sometimes we need to respect these people, and we need to understand that they might not be ready for Relay. They might not be ready to go through that, because it brings back memories. It brings back things that you went through. So, we need to respect that when someone doesn't relay. We can't understand. We're great relayers. We can't understand. Why don't they want to relay? Why don't they understand the importance of it? They're not there yet. That's okay. Continue to pray for them. And just allow them to know that you love them, okay? I've got little kids running around handing out Army Men. If you have not gotten one, I want you to make sure
your Army Man?
that you hold your hand up.
Got your Army Man?
With your Army Man.
Hold it up.
That's going to be some a little bit.
All right, good.
But one of the things that I come back from as far as like with chemo and finding out that it was failure, and we were just kind of overwhelmed, And I come to my wife and I say, hon, what are we going to do? What do you want to do? And she said, Doug, there's one thing left to do, and that was pray for a miracle. So we started relaying.
We've got one. Thank you.
Quite a bit of money.
Yes, I do. It's in my pocket.
Lisa, come over here and hold this up for me. And this shirt here is kind of raggy right now because I'm carrying it all over the place. Is a shirt that we sold for our relay team. It was Pray for a Miracle. And I'm telling you, folks in Cushing, Oklahoma, where I'm from and my wife's from, unbelievable place to live. It's a good place. Let me put it up closer so you can hear me. Okay. So the thing is that these people, at one time, we had over 175 people circling our house, praying for my wife, what she wanted and what she wanted them to pray for. My wife was a prayer warrior. She knew what her purpose in life was. She got to a point where she knew that she was not able to do what she was created to do, and she asked for some help. And she asked some friends to help her carry the load. Not only that, but to specifically pray for her, that she would be armed and dangerous to fight this cancer, that she would be able to maintain her health during these chemo sessions and stuff. And you guys know how horrendous that can be. It's just crazy what people go through with chemo. So during this time, we sold these shirts, and in our little small town of Cushing, they supported us. And for Relay, that shirt has over the past 5 years, it's raised over $18,000. It has gone to the American Cancer Society. One of the other things that we did after this is we kind of said, well, this is getting old, you know, this same shirt over and over again. So we're always thinking of ways to raise money. What do we need to do? What can we do? And so one of the other things that we did, and I'll let you hold up another shirt. I'll have Miss Oklahoma come out and do this. My goodness. Oh, sorry, I caught you off guard there. Is anybody in here like MMA? Any of you guys, come on, hold your hand up. Don't be ashamed. All right, we're talking. My wife hated it. She couldn't believe that I would allow that in my house. But I love, UFC or whatever it's called. It was just crazy stuff. Guys beating themselves over the head, just dumb. But one of the things that she did, she said, I want to do a shirt, and I want to do a tap-out shirt. And if you notice on the shirt, if you just kind of walk around and show everybody, it has the ribbon in the background of tap out, and at the very top of it is a word that says never. That was my wife's mentality. It was an incredible, incredible thing to watch her go through this and never tap out. She never tapped out. And it was also a fundraiser for us, so that was a great fundraiser. We've done all kinds of different things, bake sales, just little things. We've got a team in Cushing that does a 3-on-3 basketball tournament. How much money did they raise this year? $13,000, a 3-on-3 basketball tournament. There's all kinds of different things you can do out there to raise money, because it's important that you raise money. We have got to continue the fight. We've got to understand why it's important to raise money and what it's going for. Guys, it is so hard to sit back and think, man, if we could have made it 2 years or 3 years, there's so many great things coming down the line. American Cancer Society has been a very, very important part of funding grants that we're now already taking advantage of as far as with our cancer, our people that are survivors that have taken it. Who in here has heard of Gleevec? Without American Cancer Society, that would not be here today. Who in here has heard of Purpose? There's another one right there. One of the things I'd like to share with you is there's a young gal who has received a grant from the American Cancer Society, and her name is Shannon Stotts. And she's just like, one of those people that's incredible. She can do it all. She's a bookworm, she's a chemist, she's a biologist, whatever. I don't know, but she has helped develop this chip that is a chip that we infuse blood through now, that they can infuse blood through now. And that chip tracks cancer cells. That chip can be read, and it can diagnose what type of cancer you have without a biopsy. That's what's coming down the tubes, and your dollars that you raise are helping that. Okay, so it's very, very important that we know what we're doing and why we're doing it. Like I said, unaffected by cancer 7 years ago. I corporately sponsored the Relay for Life there in Cushing because I own a small business there. But I never went to the relay. I never participated. If you've not received an Army man, hold your hand up and keep it up, and all these little guys I got running around will come to you. So you guys be looking, and if you need some more, come back here and grab them. Right there in that bag. You can get some more and hand them out. So, guys, the thing that my wife did when she realized she was in a lot more trouble than we had been previously, she asked these gals to pray for her. There was about 3 of them. One of them sent a card back to my wife, and this card was full of little Army rifles, little bitty things. You open it up, and it just, they just fall out. And And her response to Karen was, I want you to know I've got your back, and I continue to pray that you're going to be armed and dangerous to fight this cancer. So from that, I have taken this, and I have given Army men out at every function that I've gone to. I started about 3 months after I started, but I've done about 33 events last year, and this year I've only done about 10. So, you know, it's time to slow down sometimes, but it's very therapeutic for me because I get to share the story about my wife. I get to share a story that, hey, there are people out there that are still dying today. My father, one of them, okay? My father-in-law's quality of life is terrible now because he ended up having a code, and he's in a facility now, a nursing home facility. He just never was able to get over that tongue surgery. So cancer is very real. It's very, you know, it's just disastrous. It really is. So one of the things that I'm going to ask you with this Army man, and I'm going to leave it up to you. I want you to leave it here if you can't do it because it's very difficult to do. It is the hardest thing in the world to do. But I want you to take that little Army man, and I want you to go to the first person that comes to your mind tonight, this next week, mail it to them, whatever you need to do, and let them know why you relay. You're going to relay for them. You're going to invite them to relay next year. You're going to let them be a part of relay, encourage them to be a part of it. And you let them know that if there's anything they need, you're going to be there for them. You're going to have their back, okay? It's very important that you do this. If you can't, that's okay. But just think, if just 2/3 of us do this tonight, 2/3 of you, how many more are you going to have next year? How many more survivors are you going to have here? It's tough to be here, survivors. I commend you because this is a tough time for you. I've heard things, you know, people are so afraid sometimes, oh, I don't want to bring it up. I don't want it to come back. I don't want to think about it. You know, there's just crazy things that we think about. I'm not saying it's wrong. I'm not saying that, you know, it's that way, but there's just some people that can't deal with it. So we need to remember that. We need to respect that. The other thing that I want to leave y'all with tonight is some things that my wife wrote. It was one of the things that she did. I told you she was a prayer warrior. I mean, she was a prayer warrior. Hour and a half, 2 hours a day, every day. She prayed. This is before she was sick. Who here's heard of Moms in Touch? Anybody? Moms in Touch is a program where people pray for school children, teachers, everybody. My wife prayed for the middle school there in Cushing for years. Cooks, bus drivers, janitors, students, teachers, everybody was all prayed for. And she broke it down each week, knew who to pray for and what to pray for. But she also journaled, and she was an incredible journaler. One of the things that helped me out as far as through this is that my wife had wrote a letter who I thought was to me. I asked her if we could videotape her so that I could give these significant times in my children's life a disc of my wife, letting them know how she felt and what was going on, and that she was happy for them, and just things like that. And the first thing she did was she wrote a letter. And what she did is that letter, she titled it Dove. But she wrote a letter, and this letter was to whoever this significant other person would be in my life in the future. Crazy lady. God. It's unreal. And I'm sitting there thinking, I'm going to read something really cool about me, you know. But I was just like, oh, she was harsh. You know, she told him, this is what you got to do when he's acting up, you know, when he's being, you know, stupid or rude or whatever. She told him what to do. It was really neat. So one of the things that she did was that she journaled, and I wrote down a few, and I just want y'all to recognize the fact that, you know, hey, why do things happen? You know, I can't tell you why. I can't, and I won't ever be able to tell until, you know, we're in heaven, and that's all I know. But, you know, this woman was a godly woman, and she's no longer with us. But one of the things that she wrote was, we need to spend time with God, but more so, He longs for time with us. And another one was, God can only bless what you're willing to completely give Him. Her favorite one, I think, was, I just want to be a little more like Jesus, a little more of Him each day, a little less of me. One of the things that she had said that was really, you know, unique is I caught myself saying, He, Jesus, all I've got, He, Jesus, is all I've got to hang on to in a situation that I can do nothing about. And at the same time, I realize that He, Jesus, is more than I'll ever need. He's the magnitude. So, guys, I want to encourage you to fight the fight. When you're here tonight, be a part of it. You know, the money raising's almost over, really. But next year, I want you to get it going. I want you to raise money that like unheard of. I want you to shoot for goals that you think are unrealistic. Be a part of raising the money. Develop a team. Whatever you need to do, what you do is important. And wherever the money is where there's going to be a cure. Okay? And we need money in research. And that's what we got to fight for. So I appreciate your time. I appreciate your efforts here tonight. I know that it's going to be a busy night for you. I want you to hang around because Fight Back has a very unusual speaker. You guys are going to be like, it's going to be unbelievable. Cancer Man is here. I do not know where he's at right now, but this kiddo